You're listening to the broadcasting home of the Peoria River. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Envision Inns Group, Quality Inn and Suites, Carl Health, Paradise Hotel and Casino, and Connor Companies. Let's take you inside the ring with your host, Jason Ruff, live on the River Radio Network.
Well, the heavyweight battle continues between two of the top teams in the SPHL. Last night, Nick Latinovich won the goaltender duel to help the Rivermen to a 2-1 victory over the Bulls. Tonight promises much of the same as Peoria hosts Birmingham with former NHL All-Star Ben Bishop here in attendance. All wings report in for Star Wars Night, next on the Rivermen Radio Network. Good evening, hockey fans across the land of Lincoln and beyond. I'm Jason Ruff reporting live from Carver Arena in the heart of downtown Peoria. We thank you so much for joining us here on this Saturday night. Well, when you look at Friday's contest, I think it's plain to see that both teams were certainly challenged by the other. For Birmingham, I think they would be hard-pressed to find any other team that they've played this year as strong and as structured on the defensive side against them than the Rivermen last night. Likewise, for the Rivermen, they have faced some quality goaltenders this year, no doubt about it, but they have not faced a netminder of the quality of Hayden Stewart, who made multiple grade A quality saves, 31 in all for the Bulls last night. For the Rivermen, there's no time to rest on their laurels. They know they're going to be in a tough matchup here this evening, especially with the suspensions to Mitch McPherson and Tristan Trudell. Goals will no doubt be at a premium, fitting, I suppose, considering the former NHL All-Star in the house here tonight. For right now, though, let's go downstairs to talk to Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudell about what he wants to see improve from the Rivermen here tonight from last night, the challenges of playing with a shortened roster, and his former teammate Ben Bishop, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Home Field Energy Power Play pregame show, a proud part of the Rivermen Radio Network.
Hey there, Rivermen fans. Welcome to your second intermission interview. Jason Ruff joined by Rivermen assistant coach Eric Levine. Eric, it's been a while since we've talked. I know Coach Guy's kind of taken over the spotlight here, but from your perspective, last night, 2-1 victory over Birmingham, really great goaltenders duel between Hayden Stewart and Nick Latinovich, two of the best goaltenders in the league. From a goaltender's perspective, what did we see last night?
Yeah, we saw some spectacular goaltending. It's funny because Hayden Stewart's a kid that's from around where I'm at, and he's I've known him since he was about 14 years old, and he's been coming to our goalie school. And I saw him go through juniors in college, and he's just such a good person, such a good kid, works so hard. To see him kind of blossom into the goalie he's become, I mean, he's a big body, 6'6", moves incredibly well, very athletic, very poised in net. And you can see he's got over a .930 save percentage, and that team's in first place. And, you know, not to be overshadowed, like Latinovich here has, I think, risen up to be in that elite category of top goalies. So it was personally, I think maybe some people want to see a 6-5 game. I like the 2-1 games, and it was great to see both goalies, I think, at the top of their game at the best. And you knew it was going to be one of those greasy type of goals, and it was great to come on the other end. But, yeah, from a goalie side, I think we got a show last night. It
was interesting to see the kind of contrast in styles. Hayden Stewart, very flashy, making all kinds of ridiculous saves, robbing Alec Hagman with 9 seconds to go in the second period. Meanwhile, Nick Latinovich not facing as many shots, but he's still making some decent quality saves. He's making the saves he needs to make, and he's making them look easy.
Yeah, that's something that we have worked on and talked about a lot, right? As a goalie, you need to identify your strengths. You need to play to those, and you have to limit your weaknesses. And I think it's taken a little bit at the start of the year, but I think Latinovich has really settled into like understanding what makes him good. Fundamentally, where are his strengths at? And he's playing that simple, structured, poised game. And for me, I think I told you a couple months ago, it all starts with his movement. If he's moving on his feet and he's set for shots, he's so calm, he eats pucks, he doesn't give up bad rebounds. So he's not going to be the flashy, athletic, make the amazing save. Obviously, he has, but for the most time, he's going to be very, very routine and to what people may think is an easy, boring save. That how did that guy put it in his chest? It's like, well, because he was in the correct position.
Ben Bishop, honored in the first intermission tonight, inducted to the Rivermen Hall of Fame as a historic Rivermen goaltender yourself. What role did Ben Bishop play in inspiring you and really being the kind of standard set here as a Rivermen goaltender?
It's cool. I've played for a lot of teams in my professional career, and very few have the pedigree and the history that the Rivermen do. And people wanted to always compare, like as I was going through and I was racking up wins, it was like, oh, you're approaching Jake Allen, you're approaching Ben Bishop. And in my head, I was always like, yeah, but they played at the American League. It's not exactly comparing apples to apples, but to be mentioned in the same name and to sort of in the Riverman organization have the same type of status was really, really cool. It was such an honor to like even be mentioned, as said, alongside those guys, because you're talking about Ben Bishop went to a Stanley Cup final. Thank God he didn't beat my Blackhawks and I felt bad because he was going through a groin injury at the end, and you can tell it's like he wasn't at 100%. But just to see him start in Peoria, to know that he sat in the same locker room that I did, and he went on to have almost a Hall of Fame NHL career, played for a lot of years, made a lot of money. It's cool. It's just really neat to see that the Riverman organization goes beyond this league, and it's spanned into so many different levels, so many different players. And so to see Ben come through here and for him to have his night, just for me having my jersey night this year, to see how special and how emotional it was, it's really cool when you see a goalie get honored like that. So I love that they're giving respect to him, and he deserved everything that he's going to get tonight.
You actually met Ben Bishop when you were in college with Robert Morris, correct? Tell us about that story.
Yeah, my coach, Derek Schooley, who's still there, the only coach the program has had is a St. Louis guy. So he recruited a couple St. Louis guys, and Benny's from St. Louis. And freshman year, sure enough, in comes this 6'7" lanky guy, and I'm like, is that Ben Bishop? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm best buddies with him back home. And so we had a night out, and like I said, I doubt if I brought that up, he would even remember who I was. But we had a good night, and he was, again, you kind of put up these NHL players as like, you put them on a pedestal, and you think they're going to come in, they're going to be big time, and he was just like partying like a college kid. He just literally was the nicest man. Came in, I was like, dude, I'm a goalie, I'm such a big fan. He's like, oh, what's up, man? Have a beer. He was awesome. He was such a nice guy, such a good kid. And like I said, to see him start in Peoria, and people forget, right? He was drafted by St. Louis. I don't think he played for St. Louis. He might have played a couple games, but he made his name after he left. And so it just kind of shows that the path for goalies is so different. And for him to find his game and to get as many NHL starts as he did, it was cool to have that one memory with him, and it'll be fun to see him again tonight.
Well, if you're a goalie or love goaltending, you've been loving this weekend. Eric, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck tonight.
Yep, goalie weekend, baby. Love it.
Jason Ruff with Eric Levine for your second intermission interview. Be right back after this. You're on the Riverman Radio Network.
Oh, when you hear that music, that means it's about time to close up shop. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But while you are here, we like to welcome you into the CEFQ postgame show presented by our friends at CEFQ, not a bank. Better. Well, the house of JMP might want to go into hats because JMP Atrowski with the hat trick here tonight, able to lift the Peoria Rivermen over the Birmingham Bulls. 5-1's the final score. Let's break down how it all went down. It was a similar start to last night. The Peoria Rivermen buzzing, had a number of good looks in the net. Hayden Stewart able to hold the line. Birmingham able to get on the board first. Carson Rose, who's got in behind the Rivermen defense, basically on a mini breakaway from the tops of the circles in, essentially. Stepped in, cut to across the top of the crease. We like to welcome you into the CEFQ postgame show presented by our friends at CEFQ, not a bank. Better. Well, the house of JMP might want to go into hats because JMP Atrowski with the hat trick here tonight, able to lift the Peoria Rivermen over the Birmingham Bulls. 5-1's the final score. Let's break down how it all went down. It was a similar start to last night. The Peoria Rivermen buzzing, had a number of good looks in the net. Hayden Stewart able to hold the line. Birmingham able to get on the board first. Carson Rose, who's got in behind the Rivermen defense, basically on a mini breakaway from the tops of the circles in, essentially. Stepped in, cut to across the top of the crease. Latinovic went for the poke check sweep. Rose able to outweight him and deposit the back of the net. 23rd goal of the season for the second overall points leader in the SPHO, who's held off the board last night. Assist to Nikita Kozarev, 32 on the year. Also to Drake Glover, 22 assists on the season, his secondary apple. The Rivermen went into the locker room trailing 1-0. Birmingham electric this season when leading after 20 minutes. They are 16-1, 2-1 on the year when leading after the first period. The Peoria Rivermen able to honor former goaltender from the AHL era and, of course, NHL All-Star, former NHL All-Star Ben Bishop with his induction into the Riverman Hall of Fame. It was a very special ceremony indeed. And after that, the Rivermen went on the attack and had one of their best second periods of the whole season. It started just 38 seconds into the frame as the Rivermen had the power play. J.M. Pietrowski able to deflect a Kale List shot, though it was originally listed to List goal. Pietrowski, his 13th of the season. Kale List, who sent the shot in from the point, his 17th. Helper on the air, Mike Gillette, his 14th assist, able to make it, tie that game up 1-1 on the power play. About 7 minutes later, Andrew Durham going up ice on a mini 2-on-1 with Alec Hagman. Durham skating to the base of the right circle, waiting for the defenseman to go down before touching a pass in the slot for the captain, Hagman, who was robbed once last night by Hayden Stewart and again in the first period against Stewart. Decided he was not going to be robbed this time around. Hagman fires the pass from Durham into the back of the net, his 22nd of the year. Assist to Durham and Chase Spencer, their 10th and 8th helpers on the season. That put the Rivermen up by a score of 2-1, but the Rivermen shorthanded. Birmingham was looking to tie things up on the power play, but the leading shorthanded goal scorer in the SPHL decided to do something about it. Joseph Draplick able to force a turnover in the high slot and went right to J.M. Pietrowski, who wired a slap shot. Tony Amante-esque into the back of the net, blew one past Hayden Stewart. You don't see Stewart give up straight shot goals like that very often. His Pietrowski is second of the night, 14th of the season, shorthanded for his 4th shorty of the year. That put the Rivermen up by a score of 3-1. Not a minute later, Pietrowski able to force a turnover at his own line, skate up ice on a shorthanded breakaway, was hauled down from behind, given a penalty shot, and this goal, this penalty shot goal, might be the highlight of the year in the SPHL. Pietrowski, knowing he was going up against the leading goaltender in the SPHL, brought his best move. Pietrowski skating well right, cut in across the top of the crease, went between the legs, and then upstairs on Hayden Stewart. Pietrowski, another shorthanded goal, which would end up being the hat trick tally after Pietrowski's first goal was changed from List to Pietrowski. That one coming at the 10:25 mark. Pietrowski becomes the 3rd Riverman to score a hat trick this season, first at home. That made it 4-1 Peoria going into the 3rd period. The Rivermen added on one more goal under 3 minutes into the 3rd. Joseph Draplick, nice shot from the slot as he was getting knocked down, able to put one between the wickets of Hayden Stewart for his 3rd of the season. Assist to Cahill and Mike Gillette, their 24th and 15th apples on the season, and that was all she wrote. Nick Latinovic making 14 saves on 15 Birmingham shots, picks up his 21st victory. He is now tied with Hayden Stewart for most wins in the SPHL here this season. Hayden Stewart, meanwhile, tough night for him. Just the 2nd game all season, he's given up 5 goals. 3rd game overall this year, he has given up more than 3. Hayden Stewart forced to suffer his 7th loss of the season, as Stewart finishes the night here. 38 saves for Stewart on 43 Rivermen shots on goal. Just the 2nd time this season the Birmingham Bulls have dropped back-to-back contests. First time Birmingham has dropped back-to-back games on the road. Well, with the victory, the Peoria Rivermen remain in 2nd place in the SPHL, but they pull to within 2 points of the Birmingham Bulls. Peoria improves to 30-11-1-4 on the year for 65 points. Birmingham falls to 39-4-3 on the year for 67 points. So again, Birmingham still in first with 67 points, Peoria in 2nd with 65. But here's the thing, folks. The Rivermen have swept the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. They're the defending President's Cup champions in this building. The Rivermen then swept the Fayetteville Marksmen, who at the time were in 2nd place in this building. Won the overall season series 3-2. And now the Rivermen have swept at home and for the entirety of the season's regular season series the defending President's Cup finalists, the Birmingham Bulls. Oh, and by the way, the #1 team in the SPHL for most of the year in 2 games here at this building. I think the Rivermen sending a message and putting the entire SPHL on notice that the Peoria Rivermen, especially when they get healthy, are going to be a President's Cup champion contender here this season.